The unfolding saga of Omar Bongo, a biography of power, opulence, and shadows. From the moment Albert-Bernard Bongo emerged onto the global stage, transforming into the enigmatic Omar Bongo, his biography became a tapestry woven with threads of extraordinary power, breathtaking opulence, and deeply unsettling shadows. A narrative so compelling, one simply cannot pull away until its final, shocking revelations. His reign, a colossal 4 decades, cemented his status as, at the time of his death, Africa's longest-serving non-monarch ruler, a testament to an almost preternatural ability to navigate the treacherous currents of post-colonial African politics. Yet, this remarkable longevity was underpinned by a series of facts so scandalous, so brazen, that they continue to reverberate through the annals of modern history. Born into humble beginnings as Albert-Bernard Bongo, his ascent was dizzyingly swift. A meteoric rise that saw him, by the tender age of 27, already serving as director of the presidential cabinet under Gabon's first president, Léon Mba. His loyalty, a commodity he seemed to possess in abundance, proved incredibly lucrative. When renegade soldiers staged Gabon's sole coup attempt in 1964, it was French paratroopers who swooped in, not just to restore the abducted Mba, but also the steadfast Bongo, whose fidelity to the colonial power seemingly secured his destiny. Less than a year after this dramatic intervention, Mba's sudden demise paved Bongo's path to the presidency, initiating a dominion that would define Gabon for generations. The very foundation of Bongo's protracted rule was built upon a single-party state he boldly decreed in 1968, elevating his Gabonese Democratic Party, PDG, to an unassailable position. Under this iron-fisted control, genuine democratic discourse withered. Press freedom was a mere whisper, and any flicker of opposition was swiftly and brutally extinguished. Critics, brave enough to challenge his authority, often faced harrowing consequences, with many receiving severe sentences. A stark reminder of the regime's punitive reach, even if some were later paradoxically pardoned. The subsequent multi-party elections, introduced in 1990 only after intense public pressure, proved to be little more than elaborate charades. His re-elections in 1993, 1998 and 2005 were consistently plagued by widespread allegations of fraud and irregularities, with one truly astonishing statistic from the 1979 election claiming a near-unanimous 99.96% of the popular vote, a figure so improbable it bordered on the absurd, highlighting the sheer audacity of his political maneuvering. However, it is perhaps the labyrinthine web of corruption that constitutes the most jaw-dropping chapter of Omar Bongo's biography. The sheer scale of his alleged ill-gotten gains was astronomical, painting a vivid picture of a family that treated state coffers as their personal piggy bank. Investigations in France meticulously uncovered a vast opulent portfolio of luxury real estate acquired across the chic avenues of Paris and the sun-drenched Riviera, properties estimated to be worth tens of millions of euros. A French court order in 2022 unequivocally declared that his large fortune was derived from the brazen misuse of public funds and illicit money funneled from complicit oil companies. The scandal wasn't merely confined to the patriarch, it was a deeply entrenched family affair. At least 9 of Bongo's more than 30 children were ensnared in French legal probes, indicted for corruption, the misappropriation of public funds, and money laundering, all linked to this fraudulently acquired real estate empire, valued at a staggering 85 million euros. This familial complicity underscored the systemic nature of the corruption that permeated every layer of Gabonese society under Bongo's rule. Adding another layer of shocking intrigue was Bongo's deep implication in the infamous Elf Affair, one of the largest corruption scandals in French history. This murky saga exposed the insidious ties between French political and corporate elites and African leaders, revealing how undue commissions from the French energy giant Elf Aquitaine, now part of Total Energies, were allegedly used to exploit Gabon's rich oil reserves. Bongo himself was suspected of signing paperwork that facilitated the embezzlement of these funds, which were then supposedly channeled to finance French political campaigns and bolster allied African regimes, painting a disturbing picture of colonial-era influence persisting long after independence. Beyond the financial machinations, a more sinister undercurrent ran through Bongo's presidency: the chilling allegations of his involvement in assassinations. The mysterious death of prominent opposition leader Joseph Renjambe in 1990, reportedly by poison, ignited the worst riots of Bongo's then 23-year rule, setting presidential buildings ablaze and leading to the hostage-taking of French nationals. Even more shockingly, whispers implicated him in the assassination of Robert Luong, a man alleged to be a lover of Bongo's wife, Patience Dabany, who was murdered in France. These dark suspicions added a terrifying dimension to his power, suggesting a willingness to eliminate any threat, whether political or personal. The cumulative effect of these revelations gave rise to the term Bongo system, a shorthand for the unchecked accumulation of wealth by the ruling family, facilitated by a patronage network built on Gabon's vast oil riches. Despite the country being resource-rich, the majority of the Gabonese populace remained mired in poverty, starkly contrasting with the opulent lifestyles of the Bongo elite, who flaunted their wealth with luxury cars and mansions in foreign capitals. At the time of his death, Gabon notoriously had one of the world's highest infant mortality rates, a tragic indictment of a system that prioritized personal enrichment over the welfare of its citizens. On a more personal, yet equally fascinating note, Bongo's life was as complex as his political career. His personal life was marked by multiple marriages, including to Patience Dabany, mother of his successor Ali Bongo Ondimba, and Edith Lucy Sassou Nguesso, the daughter of the Congolese president. The fact that he was reported to have fathered over 30 children by various partners speaks volumes about his private life and the extensive nature of his family web, which often blurred the lines between private and public, family and state. There were even anecdotal details, like his reputed preference for platform shoes to compensate for his diminutive height, which further added to his mystique as a big man of African politics, despite his physical stature. Ultimately, Omar Bongo's 4-decade-long reign was a masterclass in political survival, but one forever stained by the indelible marks of corruption, alleged violence, and a brazen disregard for democratic principles. He embodied the complex and often controversial figure of the strongman African leader, a man who, despite constant allegations of fraud and a deepening legacy of illicit enrichment, managed to maintain his grip on power until his very last breath.